Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Back with you today to do something a little bit different. I did mention, I think in a previous video, that I really wanted to make another one of these little ephemera holders. So I've got this little one, it's 6 by 6, well it's 5.5 by 5.5 in the end, for my stamps that I made a while ago. And you can see it's just got all my, well, when I say it's got all my stamps in, it hasn't actually got them all in, but I could easily add a couple more pages if I wanted to. I just haven't got around to it. So I've got most of my stamps in here, should I say. So I've thought what I really need is one of these for my labels, because I've got my labels all over the place. I've got some in little bags like this. So these are just Tracy Fox labels. These are quite big ones. And I've got some number labels, and then I had some mixed up in this box. And I mixed up the field notes and the random text labels, which I now wish I hadn't done, but I'll probably be able to separate them out when I put them in the new one. So I've got some in this box. I've got some that I haven't, because I didn't know what to do with them, I haven't even cut up yet. So I've got this sheet here. I've also got another lot in my other ephemera holder, my big one. So I've got labels all over the place. So I never know what to reach for when I want a label, and I haven't used labels a lot in my journals and in my ephemera, just because the type of things I've been making haven't really called for labels, but I've been starting to use them more lately. So I really thought it'd be nice to have them all in one place, and this is such a handy little thing to have just sitting on the shelf, and it's you know, it's just neat and small, and I rather like it. So I thought I'll make one for my labels based on this one. I will link the video below where I got the idea for this. It's not making an ephemera holder in that video. I adapted it for how I wanted it, so I used it to make the base of the little booklet, and then I just adapted it to put the ephemera, or in this case the stamps, in it. So I'm going to do what I did with this. I've had a bit of a look at it, try and remind myself what I did, and I've just gone into my scraps box really, and cut a load of pieces of paper, scrapbook paper, into 6 by 6 sheets. I mean, you can use a 6 by 6 paper pad, which I did for this one, but most of the paper pads I've got, the 6 by 6 ones, are white on the other side, and I wanted them to be double-sided. This was the only one I had that had double-sided pages in it, because I didn't want to mess around covering it, and I thought white is just too boring. So I've actually gone into my scraps bin. So I've got two 12 by 12 scrap boxes with all my cut-offs that are quite big pieces of scrapbook paper, but that are not whole sheets. And I've just put one lot, they're all cool colours, and the other one is all warm colours. I thought that was the simplest way to put, you know, to store them, was to just divide them into cool and warm. So this, as you can see, is all my cool colours. So they can be any colour from purple to blue to green. So all those colours are in one box. And I just picked out the ones that were either big enough or that I really liked, and that's what I'm going to use. I've got 8 sheets here, so I just thought I'll get started. And I've also prepared all my vellum strips to go inside it. So I've got 3 different sizes of vellum strips, because I found looking at the labels, the various labels I've got, you've got little teeny tiny ones, so this sort of size, and in a 1 inch sheet, 1 inch piece of vellum, it would just disappear. But then you've got really big ones like this one. I think actually these very big ones and some of the other big ones I've got, I may actually do a separate book for. I might just keep this all to the smaller sizes. But but these are still quite big, quite tall if you put them in like that. So I've got 1 1/4 inch strips, 1 inch strips, and I've even done 1/2 inch strips for the really small labels. Otherwise they just sink to the bottom, and I just, you know, got no chance of getting them out again. So that's how I'm going to do it. So let's make a start, and I think I'm going to use this as my front page, just because it's quite a busy one to use, and it's really pretty, so I thought I'd put that on the front. And I just need my little scoreboard, and let's get started and see if I can remember how to do it. First, get the scorer out, and it's all pretty straightforward. So I'll probably stop the video at some point and just finish it off camera, because it's going to be quite repetitive. as these things often are. So you're just going to score it at a 1/2 inch. The first page gets scored at a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to, so I don't think I've done it completely the same as the in the video that I watched. I think this first one is the only one that's a bit different. So then you just attach, you take the second sheet, and I think looking at the one I've done before, this is the only one I didn't score and fold. I just tucked it in like that. And so this one's going to need to be trimmed, have that 1/2 inch trimmed off, but that is the only one I'm going to have to do that with. So I think I'll glue it on and then I'll trim it. Now this is possibly a slightly bodgy way of doing it, I'm not sure, I can't quite remember. I did have a quick look at the original video again, but because she's making something a bit different, she's not actually making it as an ephemera holder. I think she has done some of her pages slightly different to the way I'm doing this one. She involves, because she's making pockets and things and folding it in. But I'm just going to glue that in so that it folds like that, and I will just trim this piece off. I'll just get my little trimmer. But that's the only one I'll have to do that with. All the others will be scored and folded. It's a very, very simple technique, which I think won't take very long for you to get the hang of, because it's very, very straightforward, and it means you can make the book as big as you want, really, or as thick as you want. You could do it any size. It's a lovely simple technique. And in fact, I have a feeling this was on the inside on the one I did before. I can't remember, but anyway, it doesn't matter which way I do it. I think I was going to put this, was I going to put that one next or that one? I'll do it that way next. Not very keen on this one, but it'll get covered up. Sort of heart shapes. I'll do that one next. So I thought it was a good way to use up some of my scrapbooking paper that I'm very unlikely to use in journals, because this is really not journal friendly type paper, but it's just a shame to waste it. So if you can use up things that are still quite pretty but not really journal friendly, this is quite a good way to do it. You can make one of these for all your ephemera, one for butterflies, one for birds, and you could make, I think an 8x8 one would be quite a good size to do. Or you could do it, I think you could do it any size really. Just that this is the size I want, because these labels are small. So I'm just going to stick it there. Right, so just put the right, let's put the glue on properly. So I'm hoping that 8 sheets is enough. I think I did in the stamp one, I've only done 7. I think I might add a couple more, because I have definitely got more stamps to go in. Not that I ever remember to use my stamps. I really need to. It's one of those things, a bit like the labels, that I not really got into the habit of using very much, but I would like to. Just push that right to the edge, I think. Try and push that so that it goes, lines it up. Okay. There we are, already. Got our first 4 pages. It's as simple as that. It is really, really simple technique. and quite an effective way to make a little ephemera book. So every time, all you're doing is scoring at 1/2 inch. Fold it whichever way you like. I'm folding it this way. I'm probably going against the valleys and mountains thing, but I think in this situation it doesn't really matter which way it goes. This is quite thick, this paper, so I'm just going to line that up. I'm just going to burnish it again one more time, just to make sure I've got a good bend, a good fold. Okay, I think that looks okay. So I'm just going to apply the glue one more time. Of course, I haven't put the topper back in between, have I? So, of course, it always throws a little tantrum when you do that. It gets a little bit dried up. Right. That's better. There we are. Okay, I will put my topper on to keep the glue happy. If you've got a nice, 6x6 paper pad, but it's double-sided, and you know, because it'll coordinate, and I've got quite a lot of paper pads, 6x6s, then they'd coordinate beautifully and make it much more of a cohesive look. But I don't know why, but hardly any of mine, well, none of mine except that one, are double-sided, so that's a real shame. So these don't really go together specifically. They're in, you know, they're all what I'd call the core colours, but they're not coordinated in any way. But I don't think it really matters in something like this. You can use whatever you like, really. They sort of go together, and that's good enough for me. Because once you've covered it, you know, filled all your labels, you're not going to see much of the background anyway, really. And once more, score it at 1/2 inch, fold it in, burnish it down, and glue. So I was all set to make this video this morning. This is Sunday afternoon now, and I got myself all ready, and I'd done all my bit. I was just finishing my preparation, and I got a phone call from my daughter that they were taking Alyssa to the park, and did I want to join? Well, obviously they rang for both of us to go, but my husband was out this morning, so he couldn't. So of course, I thought, well, I can do this later or tomorrow. So off I went, met them in the park this morning, and yeah, she was quite pleased to see me, so that was lovely. I got a lovely greeting. She ran out, gave me a big hug. She is such a loving little girl. She really is. She's always pleased to see you. She's always so welcoming. You know, she loves her people. Her nana, both her nanas and granddads, and her auntie Hannah. She's just so loving. So yeah, so we had a lovely morning in the park. The morning, it was kind of midday-ish really when I got there, and so we had a couple of hours before we decided that the weather wasn't looking too good, so we came home again. So it's not completely straight, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Right, so I'll carry on doing the rest of these, just sticking them together and making the book, and then so I'll turn the camera off for a minute, finish it up, because you don't want me to see me endlessly doing the same thing over and over, and then I'll come back and we'll start putting in the vellum strips. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back, and I've got this all finished. At least I think it's finished as far as number of pages goes. So I'm just going to just quickly flick through, show you how it now looks. So it's a really simple thing, as I've been saying, to make. So it's just like that, and there we are. It's done. So all I need to do now is to add my little strips for popping the labels in. So what I've done is I've got 3 sizes. I've got, these are 1.5 inch, and they're because of the having to fold in 1/2 inch, each of the pages is 5.5 inches now. So I've cut my strips to 5 inches wide. All of them are 5 inches wide, and then the bottom strip is 1.25 inches, and then I've got one at 1 inch, and then my top one is, oh, I haven't cut that to size. Forgot to cut those down to 5 inches, but these are 1/2 inch wide for the little tiny labels that I showed you earlier. So I better just finish cutting these to 5 inches. Done some of them and not the others, I don't know why. So I don't know if this will be enough of these numbers, so I've done a lot more of the 1 inch because I think I'll need more of those. But the first 5 pages are going to be those 3 different sizes, and then we'll see what I need. It doesn't look quite, it doesn't look particularly straight, that one. So I might just trim that way a little bit. It's a bit wider at one end than on the other. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. So I'm getting, for some reason, I'm suddenly getting messages. There's one. And so I've got 5 of the 1/2 inch and 5 of the 1.25 inch, and then a whole pile of 1 inch, because I think I need that. See, that's not straight either, but they were quite, oh no, that is, that's fine. That's all right. So that's that one. And if these aren't a perfect 1/2 inch, I think this one might be slightly wider, it doesn't matter. Just so that I've got something a bit smaller to put my little tiny labels in. Okay, that's the 1/2 inch, and I've got a couple already cut to size. Okay, and I'm just going to glue these. If I was making this for somebody else or to sell, I suppose, ideally you'd sew these onto these sheets, you know, sew them on double-sided before you stuck it together, but that seems a bit over the top just to make a little ephemera holder for myself, so I'm not going to do that. If it all starts to fall apart, I might have to rethink, but probably all I'll do is just glue it back on again. So I'm just going to glue these on in the way we'd normally do our little pockets. And I've mainly, well, certainly for these, I've just used some scraps that I had of vellum that I had in a little folder that I'd already, you know, used some of it and just kept the odd pieces, the cut-offs, and so that's a good way to do it, actually, a good way to use your leftover pieces. Try not to make it so that the glue goes inwards too much, but I don't think I've succeeded terribly well. I think it needs to be a thinner bead, otherwise it's going to limit the number of items I can put in each pocket. Try to put a very thin bead along there so it doesn't squelch up into the pocket itself. There we are. I think that was a bit better. And also I want to try and line it up with the one below. Okay, and then my little narrow one concentrating here, trying to do a very narrow, trying to keep a straight line, especially on this tiny pocket. I'm trying to keep it in a straight line and not that wasn't very straight. That sort of started to wander up. Quite tricky to do. When it's on such a narrow one, you really can't let it go too thick. So just lining it up there. It's quite handy, this one. It's because it's got the lines going across. It's quite easy to put it on straight. So just to show you. So this is what I call my medium-sized ones. So they'll just pop in there, and then my teeny tinies just pop in there. You see, and I can still get hold of them, and that's important. And I think that's why I haven't used my big ephemera holder for these labels, because they're just too small to go in the pockets. So I've made these pockets that bit smaller. So do another row. Oop, don't need that. And try and get this little bead going along here again. So this is riveting stuff, isn't it? Watching me glue pockets. I get so far and then it starts to wobble. So I'm not going to make you by any means watch me do all of these, because it's not exciting to watch, I'm sure. But it's one I needed to make. I've been thinking about making one for a little while, so I thought, well, I might as well make it on camera, and perhaps you'll get the urge to make one as well, because they're quite handy, and you can put anything in it. You can put your word. I mean, I'm thinking, oh, I could do one for words as well, word labels. So I've got a whole, because I had a lot of stuff in little bags. Which is quite good as a starting point, but the more you collect, the harder it is to find what you want. And when they're all mixed up in a bag, I end up tipping out the whole bag and then having to find just the very thing that I want to use, and then I have to put them all back again, and they go everywhere, and I drop them on the floor. I don't know if that's straight, but doesn't notice so much in this packing. Yeah, so I thought maybe doing another one of these would be a good idea for some of the things that are suitable for going in the little pockets. Okay, let's get another narrow one. Okay. Concentrate. I always get so far and then I lose it and start to wobble. Don't know why. There we go. Just going to line it up with this one. Line it up there. Fair enough, it doesn't have to be perfect. Of course it doesn't, just for myself. But it's nice if it all more or less lines up across and down the sides. Looks a bit better. It's more pleasing to my eye. Right, next one. So I'll do this one more, and then I'll turn off the camera and finish off what I've got, see if I've got enough. I don't know if I've got enough to finish the book. I might have to dip into my vellum pack to make some more pockets. But then, so then I'll come back and I'll show you, I'll start putting them in. And we'll finish it off, because I like to put a bit of fabric around the spine to finish it off, and also just gives it a little bit more strength, really. It just reinforces it. that's the word I want. Reinforces the spine. And you can decorate it, do whatever makes you happy. I'm just going to put a label on the front to say what's in it, like I did with the stamp one. Took me a while to get round to doing that as well. And all I did was stick on a bit of paper and write stamps on it. Nothing very exotic. Now I'd like it to be roughly the same as the one before. So it's about there. It's about the same. Doesn't have to be exactly the same by any means. And then this one. So I think when I've used up these, I might just do three rows of 1-inch pockets. I have to see if I need, I mean I might need some more like this, I don't know yet. It's a bit hard to know how many labels I have in each, that's going to need each size of pocket, that's the trouble. Start putting them in perhaps, and we'll see. I think that's what I'll do. Okay, so I won't torture you with this anymore. I think I've put this lower than I did the previous one, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so I will just, again, I will go off camera, finish putting my pockets in, and then come back and we'll start putting labels in, see how it all looks. And I've got some labels for my label to label the pockets, because I love to label everything. And we'll do the front and the spine and stuff, and see how we go from there. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've now put in quite a lot of vellum pockets. I haven't filled it yet because I've left the back few because I'm not sure what size pockets I'm going to want. I've cut a few more in different sizes, but until I get there I don't really know which ones I'm going to need. But I thought I might as well start putting them in and seeing what I've got, seeing how they fit. I've tried to separate out, I don't know if I've been successful, the field notes labels from the random text labels, and I'll probably move them around a bit later on. But I thought, well, I'll try and start putting some of these in and just see how they fit and how many I need. You know, I don't know, I've no idea how many pages each set is going to take up. So these are the smallest ones. So this is small because it looks like I've only used half of it, so I've cut it in half. So I'm just going to pop these in here and see how many I need, how many I can get into one pocket. I don't want them too crowded up, because then you can't see what you got, and you know, it's harder to get hold of the ones no, that one's too big, so that's going to have to go in here. And I went through each of the pockets with my spatula thing, just to make sure that they were all, there wasn't any places glued up, and I did find a few that hadn't quite caught, so I had to put some extra glue, and some had got a bit glued up, and I've tried to release them. So I've had a bit of a play with them just to see how they go. So I could, these tiny ones, I hadn't cut them up properly because they're so tiny, I thought they'd be easy to lose, but if I cut it in half, it's big enough to, it's about the right size to pop in there and I can get hold of it. But then if I cut it, you know, completely out, it'll just disappear. It's so tiny, I'd never be able to get hold of it. So I've just left those like that. And, oh, that's a half of a blank one. Don't really want that one. So I'm just going to fill these up. And these are about, so these half-inch ones are quite good for these small labels. Looks like there's another half one. Okay, so then I've got the Oh, these are numbers. I think these were all in the field notes. I don't know what the numbers signify. They were all in the field notes, I believe. So I'm going to keep them with it, although I'm going to have a different section for her numbers, because I do have her number labels here. So I'll put them in another section. And I also have Shabby Dibby Doodah's number labels, so they go in towards the back as well. So these ones, I can split those now and pop those in. To put one here. Oops, I don't know if you can even see that. Right, so then these ones are the sort of what I call the middle-sized. I think these are the middle-sized ones. I think these should fit nicely in the 1-inch pockets, like so. Is that going to go in there? So I might pop that in there. Some of them I'm not sure which size pockets they go best in, so I might try and put a few in the top there. I'm just going to... So I just don't know how many pages to allow for each set. I suspect I might need 3 pages for this. I'm not colour coding them or anything. I'm not keeping the colours together. I'm just doing it literally by size. Because it's quite clear the colours, so they'll be easy to pick out. If I want a particular colour. And there's a few more for the next page, and then I've got the bigger ones here, and these can go in the 1.5 inch, these are 1.25 inch, these pockets. So I'm just going to put those in here. It's quite good to have these all laid out where you can really see them, and I can just get hold of what I want. But I may well add a few more to each pocket. It's just difficult to know how many to put in each one so that I can still see what I've got. I'm not even sure if that is I don't think that's a... It's hard to know which ones are field notes because half of them you can't even read what they're saying, so I don't know if they're just random text or field notes. I don't suppose it matters an awful lot. If you can't read it, it makes no odds really, does it? And put that one in there. Right, I think I need a few more. So those in there. So I really don't want to overcrowd the pockets. I think these are a bit smaller so they can go up here. So I don't know, I think I might leave another one blank so that if I print off another set, that go in there. I've got room to put a few more in if I want to. And then I can spread them all out. Okay, and I've got these little ones I can put in here. I'm going to separate these ones again. One. Actually, I could cut this one down now that it's not quite as tiny as the others, so I'll just cut that down. Now that they've got their own little pockets, less likely to get lost. Right, so I might leave this one blank and start on this page with the next lot, which are the random text labels. So will it go in here? That'll be right in there. Bigger one, little one. Let's just pop them all in. Yeah, these are going in quite nicely. Another little one, middle-sized one, big one. So what I've got here, I've got 3 pages of 3 rows of 1 inch, because I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure whether the 1 inch ones, I'd have more needing to go into the 1 inch than I would into the slightly deeper pocket. So I might put that there. And have these longer ones, keep them over there. If I've got any really long ones, they need to be in the bigger pocket, don't they? Like this one. Okay, that might go better in here. Okay, that goes there. And a few small ones. I'll take this one out. That's not as tall. I've got a few long ones here that I think need to go in this deeper pocket. That one there. That's all right in there. That needs to go in a little pocket. I think that one's okay in there. That looks like a number to go with the field notes. No idea where some of these belong, but I'll move them around if I have to. Big girl. I might put that in there. That one. I think that needs to go in the really little pocket. Let's move some of these along to here. That one in there. That one there maybe. Right, so one more page of these, I think. And I've still got a bit of room for a few more if I print off a few more if I need to. Put those in there. Nearly all done. And I'll leave the rest, the other packs, the numbers to do off camera. And that can go in there. And final teeny tiny. There. So tiny I can't get hold of it. There we are. Stuck it to my finger. Right, let's put that number with the others in here. Right, so we've got, I wonder this one is too big for there. Can work out whether that's, I'm going to say that's probably random text rather than field notes. But so what I'm going to do now is I want to label my labels. I love a label and I love my label maker. I have this Brother label maker. I've had this for quite a few years now. I bought it bought it from an online shop called Create and Craft that we have over here, and I believe you may have it over in the States. I don't know if it goes anywhere else. I bought it years ago, and it was $9.99, and it was a good deal then, and I suspect it's a very good deal now. But I've used it so much, my whole craft room is got labels everywhere. I'm just constantly labelling things. So I've got different coloured tape, but I thought the white on black would work quite well and show up quite well on here. So I've got some of them I've already done. So this is the Tracy Fox field notes. So I just need to trim that down a bit, because they always give you too much label, more label than you need. And I think I'm just going to put it here. And then it's very clear that that's the labels that go there. Right. Oops. Curls up when you take the backing off. And I'm just going to pop that there. So that's the Tracy Fox Field Notes labels. And then the next set is this lot, and that's the random text. So I'm going to do the same thing. Right. So I'm going to pop that there. Tracy Fox random text. So I'm hoping that these 3 pages is enough for them. Then I can start doing the next ones here, which will be, so I don't think I've got any other. So I've got a load of blank labels, and I can't remember who they're by. I'm not sure if they might be Tracy Fox or they might be somebody else. I need to look them up so they can go in towards the back. But I've got my number labels. See, I've got this bag of number labels. So I think I'm going to put my Tracy Fox numbers here now. And then that puts all the Tracy Fox labels that I've got together. Unless the blank ones are by her. But there we go. Nearer the back. Oops. And so I've got Tracy Fox numbers. We'll go here. And then I've got a Shabby Dabby Doodah. I think I'm going to have to do the 2 labels. That's separate. I could fit it on, actually. I could have fitted it on. I didn't know if it would go onto the... So I only printed off Shabby Dabby Doodah. So I'm just going to quickly do... So I'm just going to show you it working. So all you do... It's lovely. I love this machine so much. You can have capitals or mixtures of capitals and small, or so it's all going to be capitals, and you can have 3 sizes of the print. So this is the small. You can have it much bigger. Obviously, as long as it'll only fit onto the width of the tape, but you can have the bigger size font. So we're just going to have numbers. Numbers. There we are. So Shabby Dabby Doodah numbers. Press the button to print, and it comes out here. So clever. Well, it's not clever. It's just a nifty little machine that I love. So then I will have my Shabby Dabby Doodah numbers. Once I've put these in, I'll know where the Shabby Dabby Doodah numbers can go. I don't know if I need 2 pages or 3 pages for Tracy's numbers, and then I've got enough to put Tina's numbers probably here, and then I might have room for the blank labels at the back, and if I haven't, I'll add on one more page. So having said that, I can't do that if I cover the spine, can I? So what I think I'll have to do is see how far this goes, get everything in, and then come back and do the spine, and that'll be the end. So I'll come back and finish it off when I've got all the labels in that I want to get in, and we'll just finish off with covering the spine and putting a label on the front. Okay, so one more time, I'm going to stop the video, keep on going, and then I'll be back to finish. It might even be tomorrow in my time, because I might start to lose the light because it's just gone 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So who knows whether I'll be back today or tomorrow, but as far as you're concerned, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, see ya. Hi there, I'm back. It's the next morning, so I spent a bit of time just filling all the pockets and finishing the little book. So I'll show it to you, do a little quick flip through, and then we'll just do the final little bit of decorating. Not that there's much decorating to do. So I've now filled all my pockets. So I've got the field notes labels here, and I've put my label here to say that's what they are. And I've left a page blank in case I want to expand at all. You know, perhaps I might print some more before this is, obviously this is empty, so I just got a little expansion page here. And then I've got my random text labels, and that goes on for 3. So I've got 2 pages, and again I've got a little bit of room to expand here. Then I started putting in the number labels from Tracy. So I've got a couple of, well, 3 pages of number labels. I think they just look really nice, just sort of layered in like that. You can see everything you've got, you know, and you can get at them nice and easily. I really like this, really pleased with it. Now, and then at the end I've got the Shabby Dabby Doodah numbers. So I had some, so they come in 3 sizes. So I've done 3 sizes of labels, of pockets. But I realised after I'd done 2 big pockets at the bottom that actually these are the only ones that are really big. So most of my pockets are going to be 1 inch or 1/2 inch. So and I've just split them by the colours that they came in. And this page I did 4 strips of 1/2 inch because I had lots of little tiny labels here. So I put them all together on that page, and then the last of the 3 1 inch strips on this page. And I've got a little bit of extra room here, but yeah, so they're not crowded in. I've got a bit of room to add more if I need to. So I'm really pleased how that's turned out. It's going to be much more usable than what I was working with before. And I'm already planning to do my next one. I've got my warm scraps this time. These are the boxes I use, 12 by 12, and it's just all the larger pieces in the warm colours. So there's all sorts of bright, pretty patterns here. Got a whole lot. I mean, you can see how much I've got, you know, from scrapbook papers of these. I could make 10 of these and still have some left, I reckon. So yeah, but I can think of lots of uses for them, so I may make a few more over the time. And there's so many things you can put in these little books because they're just, you know, they're nice and neat. They don't take up much room. Anyway, enough about that. I'm just going to finish it off. I've got this little bit of vintage fabric. It's quite a pale little pink floral, if you can see it. I don't know. And I thought it goes quite well with the paper. So I'm just going to put that on using my Fabri-Tac, I think. Where have I put it? Oh, so excuse my arm. Right. Come on, Fabri-Tac. I forgot to get it out ready, didn't I? I've just popped in here first thing just to finish this because I've got quite a busy day ahead. It's Bank Holiday Monday. Got quite a few things I need to be doing today, so I thought the first thing I needed to do was get this video finished. And then I have got a whole load of things I need to do during the day. Just going to put that there. Oh no, upside down. Oh. Am I left enough? Yeah, I think that's about right. So I've just torn this strip. I quite like this frayed edge. And I might just trim that off. and then glue along the spine, and this just holds it all together and gives it that finished look. So put the Fabri-Tac along the back of all the folded papers. Like that. And some more along the back. So I think the next one I want to make is for the larger labels that I've got quite a few bigger labels. I mean, you could make one for vintage ephemera, like the smaller pieces of vintage ephemera. You could make a smaller one of these. You can make bigger ones of these. It's so adaptable. It's such an easy technique. And you can end up with a row of them with all your different ephemera all organised beautifully. There we are. That's all of it. I might just put another little bead under there. Didn't quite bring it far enough across. In case you hadn't guessed, I'm still in my pyjamas. Waiting for my husband to finish in the shower, so I thought I'll pop in and just do this while I'm waiting for the shower to be free. There we are. And little label, just so I know what's inside. You could pretty this up even more, but I thought, use the pretty paper for the front page, and then you don't really need to do any more decorating. This is just for my own use, and I don't think any more decoration is required apart from just a label to say what's inside. There we are. So it says Small Labels, Tracy Fox and Shabba Dabba Doodah, which is basically all I've got inside there, but I think that pretty well covers it. Anyway, there we are. It's my little ephemera holder, 6x6 from 6x6 papers. This is the original one that I've got for my stamps, and I've got one for my small labels, and the next one I will do for my larger labels. And you could just keep going. Alright, so thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you decide to make one of these and what you're going to use it for. I'll be really interested to know. Okay, bye for now.